welcome to Board Online, Board Offline. Today we're bringing you a re-unboxing of My Little Scythe. What is a re-unboxing, you ask? Well, that's when I film an unboxing and then I delete that video without having actually edited it and uploaded it. So instead, we're not going to go through the shrink wrap to get to all the components, but you are going to get to see all the components in this game. Gotta say, I am impressed with the components in this game. They are pretty fantastic, but coming from Stonemaier Games, what would you expect? While you're watching this, if you think that My Little Scythe might be something you're interested in, there's a link in the description below to take you over to Amazon and you can purchase one for yourself, and just a little bit of those proceeds will go to the channel. So without anything else, let's get right down into My Little Scythe and I'll show you what comes with the game. All right, so here we go with our re-unboxing. So we've got My Little Scythe here. You can see I got all these different real cute little factions here. On the back, you can see each faction actually has its own miniatures. You get 2 of each of these. And we've got ages 8+, 45 minutes, and 1 to 6 players. Now, I've only played with 3 players, but I will tell you that 8+ definitely sounds right. And the 45 minutes definitely seems to be right on target as well. I believe we actually, in our very first play, played in slightly less than, or maybe it might have been right at 45, but I feel like once you know the game, at least with 3 players, we'll be able to get it down around 30 pretty easily. So let's get right in here. And you can see designed by, I believe it's Hobie Chow. I apologize if I am messing up either one of your names there. And his daughter, Vienna Chow, illustrated by Katie Cow. I'm really sorry. I'm messing those names up. I am sure of it, but at least you see them, and I do apologize. So here we got the rule book here. Now this is, you can see, 7 pages. The components go through page 2. So this the setup. So the game rules itself start page 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And you can see there's plenty of pictures here. I mean, there is a decent chunk of text there, but believe me, very simple to get into. Nothing too bad at all. For the people who are interested in painting, this gives you a guide for how you can paint the miniatures here. You can see 2 different versions of each one, because technically in the game, these are called seekers, and your seekers are siblings. So you have 2 of each. Just a little not advertisement, I'm sorry, it actually shows you how you can store the components, the best way to do that. Here you've got an achievement sheet similar to the one that was in Scythe. You can see we've got some achievements on here from our first game. Over here we've got our Ultima rule book, which I have not gotten into yet, but you can see that it's basically just 2 pages to adjust for playing solo, with a few things on the back there as well. All right, so now, by the way, my daughter has painted these. Most of them, I believe there's 3 that are still primed but not painted. So you see you actually have a top here. I believe these are made by Game Trays, and this comes with a game. And you can see, obviously you saw me flipping it around a second ago, so it's not perfect with keeping things in place, but it still does a really good job. All right, now here are the player boards. Everybody's player board is exactly the same. And you've got 4 trophies you'll keep up here, space to keep your gems, the 3 main action sections, and then within the sections, there's only 1 for move, but there's 2 different ones here for seek and 3 different possibilities for make. All right, and so with how with Scythe you have to move, you can't do the same action twice. Well, that just means the same individualized action down here. You have to move from one to the next. You have to, if you're here, then you got to pick one of the other 5, and so if you're here, you got to pick one of the other 5 on your next turn. But you can still pick within the same section if there's multiple options there. All right, and you see that on the back. And now, of course, these aren't board. These are cardstock here. Okay, but is no problem for what we've got going on here. All right, so here you can get a look at these miniatures. Now, obviously, they don't come, like I said, they don't come painted. This is my daughter's first attempt, really, at painting miniatures. First real attempt at it, and I feel like she's done a pretty good job here. But these are some cool-looking miniatures, by the way. Now, the factions don't have different powers. They're basically all the same in terms of powers, but I mean, these are just some really cool, a little cool detail here to have these different miniatures here for a game like this. Let's look at one more here. All right, and then every faction has the action token, which is, that's what you use. Oh, by the way, let me show you this. For these things, if they were just if it's just like a flat area they were in there, it'd be difficult to get out, but you actually can press it down just enough to then pick it right up. It's got an indentation there, makes it easy to pull it out. But so these, are the action tokens that you can use on the different spaces there. And every faction is going to have a pie token to keep track of how many pies, the friendship token to keep track of your friendship, and then the 4 trophies that you have to set out to win the game. All right, so let's put those to go back in there. All right, so here we've got the board. I will come back to the board in a minute when I can zoom out a little bit more and show it to you a little bit better. So these right here are upgrade tiles for move. So these will adjust your move ability just a little bit, give it a little extra power to it so you can customize. And you've got the mechanical frog, supply catapult, wings of friendship, royal chariot. So for instance, normally you can move when you select move, your seeker can move 2 spaces or 1 space if the seeker is carrying any resources. And this makes it as one of your moves move one of your seekers directly to any unoccupied space containing 2 or more resources. Both seekers may make their own independent moves, but that's normal. So it adds that extra power there. Or like, for instance, let's see what Wings of Friendship is. As one of your moves, move one of your seekers directly to your other seeker space, then gain 1 friendship. So you can see how that adds, some little differentiation. While we're talking about the upgrades, let's take a look at these right here. Oops, hold on. There we go. All right. So this is the make upgrades. All right. So like, for instance, Stingy Baker, so this is the normal one. 2 apples. Actually 2 apples would get you 2 pies. Normally, the Stingy Baker uses 1 apple to get 2 pies, whereas the Iron Pie Chef uses 2 apples to get 3 pies. So you can see how these just make slight adjustments. The Alchemist, you can use either apples or gems to make pies, or you can use apples or gems to get magic, whereas normally only apples get you pies, only gems get you magic. The Redeemed Magician, 2 gems gets you a magic card and 1 friendship, whereas normally you just get the magic. So you can see how those work. Here we've got our quest cards. Work pretty similar to the ones in Scythe. Lots to learn. Helper Study, pay 2 apples and gain 1 magic spell and 1 friendship. Or Cheat a Little, trade 1 of your magic spells for a random magic spell from any other player, lose 1 friendship. Or No Thanks, gain 1 magic spell for visiting, return this quest face down to the bottom of the quest deck. And so every one of them will have kind of a good one, a bad one in terms of friendship, and a No Thanks option. If you do one of the top 2, then you keep the quest card, because once you complete, it's considered a completed quest at that point. When you complete 2, that's one of the ways you can get a trophy. If you do No Thanks, then the quest token still gets discarded from the board, but the quest itself is not completed and goes to the bottom of the quest deck. What else do we have in here? Let's see, I'll set that to the side for now. Here we've got different, they call personality cards, I think. So trophy, earn the trophy on your turn by reaching 2 magic spells instead of 3 and have at least one of the trophy earned. So these will make it easier. Each of these makes it easier to earn one of the trophies. So in this case, 2 magic spells instead of 3. Or in this case, power-ups, earn the trophy on your turn by having 1 power-up instead of 2 and at least one of the trophy earned. So usually it requires you already have earned 1 trophy, but again, instead of needing 2 power-ups, you only need to have 1 and then you'll get a trophy as well. Let's look at one more. Adventurous, complete your second quest by visiting it. Resolving is optional. This will earn you a trophy if you've already completed your first quest. All right. Oh, I see what it's saying here. So normally you'd have to actually complete the quest, right? You'd have to do one of the first 2 options that I was telling you about. Normally you have to complete 2 quests by doing the blue or red option for 2 different quests. But in this case, it's saying you just have to visit the second quest. So complete the first one, but then visit the second one, and then you can choose even the no thanks option will still earn you a trophy in that case. All right, and then right here, you know what? I'll show you how that works in a second because that's something that goes on the board. And these are the Ultima cards. I don't know how these work yet. Haven't done anything with the Ultima yet. I'm considering doing a playthrough though, since I did a Scythe playthrough with the Ultima. So that might be worth doing on here as well for My Little Scythe. All right, and then the magic spell cards are just the equivalent of the combat cards in Scythe. You get 2 pies or 3 pies, 5, 4. So these are the exact same thing as those combat cards. Here we've got the gems, which are really cool looking. I like these gems a lot. They're nice and chunky, real big, and good quality plastic there. Here you've got apples, which are just the resource that goes on the board. One of the, obviously gems are resources, apples are resources. They go on the board just like in Scythe. Here are the quests, which are like the encounters in Scythe, except for unlike Scythe that has specific spots that the encounters go on, and they are always there. In this version, quests are continuously being placed out whenever players seek, and so they can keep popping up, and it's possible to keep getting more and more. So these are the dice that sometimes players, if they take the seek action, will roll either 2 red, 1 blue, and a gold, or 2 blue, 1 red, and a gold. And the blue dice get more gems, the red dice more apples on the board, and then the gold places quest dice or quest tokens out on the board. So speaking of the board, let's take a look at that. So you can see, just like with Scythe, this board is very big. It does take up a lot of room, but it's not quite as big as the Scythe board, I don't think. It would be interesting to pull that out and take a look. But anyway, so down here is, and let's pan down just slightly, down here is where all the spell cards go with a discard. Here you've got your friendship track. If you drop below 3 friendship, if you're down 2, 1, or 0, then you cannot earn trophies while you're down here, and you get a trophy for going up to 8. And then on this side of the board is the pie track, which is the same as the power track in Scythe. This obviously is the same as the popularity track in Scythe. And over here, if you get up to 8, again, you earn a trophy. And speaking of trophies, up here in the top right corner, all the different ways to get trophies: 8 popularity, 2 power-ups, 3 magic spell cards, complete 2 quests, deliver 4 gems to the castle, Castle Everfree, deliver 4 apples to the Castle Everfree, win 1 pie fight, or get up to 8 pie. So this is Castle Everfree in the middle. These are the portals, which are the same as the tunnels in Scythe. And then, so I was telling you about this piece right here, right? So all this is so you use it one time during the game. At the very beginning of the game, you turn it over, just kind of randomize where it's facing, get it right there on top of Castle Everfree, flip it over, okay? And then, based on how many players are playing, because when you're playing, oh, that's right, I didn't show you this in the, these are the 2 things I didn't show you in the box a minute ago. So obviously these are the pie wheels, just like the power wheels power wheels. That's not what they're called. But you know, the power tracker, or whatever it is that you use in combat and Scythe, these are the same thing except for with pies, right? Okay, so, and also you get -1 friendship when attacking in this game. These are your base camps. So notice that there are no base camps out because based on how many players are playing, the base camps go to different places. So for instance, with 2 players, you have 1 base camp up there and 1 base camp down here. It doesn't matter what colors, you can use whichever base camps you want. And so then if this was the orientation of this, whenever we set it up, that would mean that a gem would go here and here, and an apple here, and an apple here and here, and a gem there. And by the way, I'm not positive that, I'll have to relook at the rules, but I'm not positive if you have to have these guys exactly in those spots or if they just have to be opposite each other. But I'll relook at the rules and double check it. But they have a chart in there that shows, actually, now I think about it, you know what, let's just pull open the rule book real quick. I'm pretty positive those are the exact right spots because, yes, so here you can see they do have the orientation of the board. 2-player goes here and here, 3-player here, here, and here, and you see how it goes all the way up to 6 players, which obviously then everybody's in a spot. But that is pretty much everything that comes with My Little Scythe. All right, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope that this game, that My Little Scythe, interests you. I will be bringing a gameplay, not sure yet if that'll be Ultima or a multiplayer gameplay. And also I'll be bringing you a detailed how to play for it as well. So again, thanks so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please give this video a thumbs up. And if you like my channel, consider subscribing. And until next time, if you're bored online, board offline.